And then within a couple of weeks being on whole foods and no animal products whatsoever, I was, I'd say, around 50% less psoriasis. There was an enlarged heart. And so somebody's putting paddles on your chest, you don't think there's long left, do you?
All right, here we are with the vegan mooncat, aka Mark. Thanks so much for coming on.
No worries. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so it appears that you've reversed a ridiculous amount of health issues. Dare I say, reversed entire diseases. It's a little bit of a trigger word nowadays.
Gets people going, doesn't it, that one?
Yeah, everything gets people going nowadays. But you in particular have reversed what I would consider to be severe psoriasis and other things, but that's something that I wanted to cover. One of my family members has it as well, and it's just something that is a high degree of suffering, and I feel really bad for anybody that has it. So yeah, good on you for getting that.
No, it's a very debilitating sort of disease, and it's one that when you go to the doctor, that they state there is no cure. So you feel in limbo, really. They've got obviously things to manage symptoms, but they can all be, depending, creams and different things and different light treatments. But I got a lot of symptoms with some of the medications. So yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, I was about to say side effects too, and it just, man, and even just the itching. I just can't imagine having something like basically all over your body all the time.
No, the itching is insane. It really is, and it just never stops. You're itching at night. You're itching you wake up and you've itched yourself so much that you're bleeding, because obviously the skin's very weak in those areas, and there's blood all over your bed sheets, etc., or your pajamas. I sounded very English when I said pajamas then.
No, I love it. Yeah. Well, man.
Gets everywhere. I mean, even when you're at work, you're itching, and I was having to wrap bandages around my lower legs, especially because I was bleeding through my trousers, and now blood was coming through on a daily basis at work, which was so embarrassing. And you just want to be swallowed up into a hole when that happens.
Oh man, you basically have to turn yourself into a mummy. It's Halloween season here, so I just had to go.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been okay.
Would have been a good costume,
Halloween, I suppose.
Yeah, it would have been a good costume. It would have been practical. No, I'm really sorry you had to deal with that. So can you describe where on your body it was? It seems like it was on, as you can see by the pictures that we have here, it was on your back really bad, but where else was it maybe?
All over my scalp. I had it all over my forearms, my upper arms, my chest, my stomach was, my entire torso was covered in it. As I said, my back was covered. I also had it on my feet. My nails were absolutely terrible. I mean, my hand, the nails on my hands were a little bit bad, but the actual nails on my feet were almost disintegrated with it. They were just completely and utterly ruined. It was so destroying.
But they recovered from that. Your nails.
Yeah, I mean, they've completely recovered. My toes don't have any on it anymore. The photographs that I gave you were the pictures that were taken at the very beginning of me getting psoriasis, when I could just about bear being photographed still. One that actually took full control over me, a full hold, and it was so depressing, and I was so embarrassed about it. I wouldn't let anyone take a picture of me.
So it was worse than the picture actually shows here.
It was probably 3 times worse than that picture.
Oh my gosh.
It was like, it was more psoriasis visible than skin.
Wow. Overachiever. You're an overachiever, but I appreciate the vulnerability.
Yeah, it's the wrong thing to try and achieve with.
Yeah, yeah. And I will just say right off the bat, it's probably unlikely that everybody has a diet, like can just change up their diet and get rid of their psoriasis. But in your case, like it's a pretty strong case that happened, right? Like when did you get it, and when did you start the diet, and when did it clear up?
Okay, I think I got it around 7 years ago. So I got it quite late in life, to be fair. I mean, I think most psoriasis cases you get before you're 35. But yeah, mine came on much later. And it just started with a few little spots and a few little patches, and it kept getting growing and growing and growing. And then it was just like, oh, where in the world does this all come from? And I went to the doctors. And I went through several treatments. I can go into that if you want me to. And then but it was just things that sort of like the medications and the different treatments, they just stop the symptoms, and it did go down, but there were side effects from them, and they weren't pleasant. And as soon as you stopped taking the treatments, it came back. So it wasn't a long-term sort of solution to manage psoriasis. And I think once you've got psoriasis, it's pretty difficult to shift it completely. All you can do is really sort of manage the symptoms and keep them as low as possible. I'm sure some people can get rid of it.
Especially if it starts off more mild. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get tiny little spots of it here and there, but nothing like I had. And then I decided to switch to a whole foods plant-based diet for the psoriasis and also other health conditions that I had. I had heart issues, venous insufficiency in the legs, sleep apnea. I diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol.
Oh my gosh, you just tacked on a few I didn't even know about. Yeah,
I had a lot. And all the other sort of things to go with it, so it was an absolute nightmare.
I'm sorry. We'll touch on heart disease in a second, but tell me about.
Sure.
So you switched your diet.
Yeah, I switched the diet, and then within a couple of weeks being on whole foods and no animal products whatsoever, so no dairy, obviously, no eggs, no animal flesh, nothing at all. I was, I'd say, around 50% less psoriasis. So, and the only other treatment that had ever made that kind of an impact on my psoriasis was something called PUVA, PUVA, and that's like a combination of drugs and light therapy.
Ultraviolet light.
Yeah, and that was the only thing that ever had that sort of effect. But when I had that treatment, it had terrible blistering. I had a lot of nausea, a lot of headaches, a lot of burning, and some of the blisters it caused were so deep, and they kept coming up for the entire week after the treatment. They just kept appearing and getting deeper and deeper. It was an absolute nightmare. But no side effects from no negative side effects from going on a whole foods plant-based diet.
That's awesome.
It was all great. So everything just started to get better. And I said that initially it was a massive change, about 50% within maybe 2 to 3 weeks.
Nice.
And then it just gradually got better and better and better.
Wow, that's incredible. So I wonder if it was a particular food group that was doing it, or if it was your overall inflammation. Obviously, it's an inflammatory disease, right? So if you can just get your systemic inflammation down and down and down, but it's also so particular. So I wonder if there was perhaps some like animal protein or something. We just are I was just looking at research on this. We're so lacking on research to just even get an idea of yes or no, it is some like weird cow protein that's triggering this. I know for some people it can be gluten, but did you keep eating gluten? Or?
No, I've eaten gluten. I've never stopped eating gluten, so I don't think that was the trigger for me. I gave up, as I say, eggs, dairy, and meat all simultaneously. So it would be hard for me to pinpoint which one of those was causing the issue, or maybe inflaming the issue. But to be fair, I wasn't prepared to introduce any of those products back into my
you don't want to risk
life,
that. No way.
To find out what it was. Certainly from a health view or an ethical view, it just wasn't an option. So I just ended up just thinking, well, I'm really happy with what I'm eating. All my illnesses seem to be going down and going away. So long may it continue, and it did.
Yeah. I also know that there's sort of a little bit of a connection between diabetes and psoriasis as well. So you had type 2 diabetes?
Yes.
So your blood sugar, what was like your typical situation? Like you'd have to, you'd have a pretty big spike in blood sugar.
I'll rephrase obviously you'll know this. There's a cutoff between pre-diabetic and diabetic, but it's like I was just below, so technically pre-diabetic.
Okay, so you were pre-diabetic enough.
Yes.
Diabetic. Okay, yeah. But still, your hemoglobin A1C was like very high, and if you're right at the cutoff, like you know, who knows? A couple months later, a few months later, you could have been over the line.
Yeah, I was definitely on the way to full blown diabetes at any point.
Yeah. Either way, you were having diabetic related issues in the sense that like your blood sugar was probably very elevated. Yeah, because it had to be to get hemoglobin A1C is just blood sugar over time. So that's not good. But then you reverse that, which is awesome.
Yeah, I mean that went away pretty quick as well. To be fair, it didn't take long for that to go down and come off any medication for it. It's I started feeling better within weeks. you know. So I mean, that was it. I mean, it's not like switching to the whole food plant-based diet just cured one of the things. You know, everything just started getting better, and obviously I'm losing weight at the same time, because I used to be a considerable weight, 470 pounds. So you know, and I've lost 196 pounds of that. So there's a lot of that weight gone, but it didn't even feel like I was starving myself or causing myself to have any sort of deprivation, you know, because I was eating large, you know, whole plant food meals, and I was really pleased. Plus I added a lot of spices. I like spicy food anyway, so it all tastes good with some spices in it.
But you lost, let's just recoup there for a second. You lost almost 200 pounds. Yes. Which is how much I weigh. I don't even weigh, I weigh like 180 pounds. So you lost as much as I am.
That's insane.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Well, congratulations. And then you also said you had high.
I've lost an entire mic.
You lost a mic. Mike the weight loss. That can be one of your episodes.
Maybe that could be a new sort of like unit of measurement, you know, for people that have lost weight. You know, oh, you've lost a mic now.
Yeah, nice. It could be an episode on. I should actually mention right now, of course, that you also have a YouTube channel and people can check you out. I should mention that, not at the end. YouTube and Instagram. It's
the Vegan Mooncat, you know, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and everywhere else.
You haven't gone on TikTok yet?
I did, but I find it hard to keep my mouth shut for and only stayed within a short time period.
Oh yeah,
I'm a bit of a talker.
15. Yeah, well, you could just dance. That would just be the way to do it. Or you could just do a quick, like, this is everything that I've reversed in like 15 seconds. And
that is true. I put a few things on there, but TikTok and me, you know, maybe I'm a little old.
It's hard. I got to make more videos on there too. I need to do it. Anyway, back on the subject. So you had high blood pressure as well. And do you feel like you kind of cut out all the salt as well when you went whole food vegan?
Yeah, when I went whole foods, I also didn't add any extra salt in. So I really reduced the amount of salt that I was using, which is obviously really good for blood pressure. And I also stopped using oils. So any processed oils or anything, I stopped using them too, you know, for heart health and, you know, just generally there's so many calories in them.
Yeah. And that's the way to go. I mean, that's how you're able to get that weight loss. And that's also just, if you're trying to reverse those major diseases, like you just got to cover your bases. And we can talk about oil forever, but I just did a video on it and I've talked about it too much recently. So
I watched your oil video.
But let's get to the blood flow related stuff, because of course, high blood pressure, if your arteries can't expand, then you're going to have more of an issue. And that's one of the theories for why vegans have an improved hypertension situation. And so you had venous insufficiency. So do you want to talk about that for those that don't know?
Yeah, venous insufficiency. It's the way the doctor explained it to me, and he probably explained it to me like I'm a child because I don't know. I didn't go too in depth. But it was basically the arteries in the legs weren't working correctly, and they were not allowing the blood to come back up efficiently. So you would get it pooling in the lower half of your legs, and you would start to get discoloration in the legs, in the skin, and they would swell considerably, and it was extremely painful, you know, and it was unattractive as well. It's not you don't want to wear shorts when your legs look like that, to be fair. And the doctor said basically I was stuck with that, you know. There was no way of getting around it. And then I saw him after I'd lost a considerable amount of weight, and it was reversed and it was working again, and even the discoloration had mostly gone away with just a little tiny patch on my right leg. And he was going, well, I've never seen it happen. He's never seen it get reversed.
Whoa.
Maybe it's something other people have seen reversed, but
he had never seen it.
He'd never seen it get reversed.
Wow, that's amazing. And that's all connected, is the diet, the pre-diabetes with the blood flow and on, and just like your arteries' ability to dilate, artery wall function and stuff. And that just made me wonder, well, first of all, the psychological position from being told you have all of these things, psoriasis, et cetera, we're gonna get to the hard stuff in a second, that can't be reversed. And then just being like, oh my gosh, this is my life. And it made me wonder, what were you eating at that point in time? Like, what would your average day be, like breakfast, lunch, dinner?
I had zero control over, well, I had full control of my diet, but I didn't take control over it, if you get what I mean. So I was eating a lot of pre-prepared foods, a lot of takeaways, pizza, even though it's not my favorite. Then, a lot of fried chicken, other stuff as well, such as, it was, like meatball Subway, and all the usual, sort of things.
But that's how Jared lost all his weight.
Yeah, he did well there. And there was a lot of I always said that bread was my sort of Achilles heel, but but now I look back on it, it wasn't actually the bread. It was
what you put in between the bread
and the bacon and the egg,
butter, bacon,
and things I would put on it. That was the problem. So I was eating very few vegetables in my life at that point in time, and I realize that was a very big mistake for many reasons. But pretty much just all animal products in one shape or form.
Wow. Between a couple pieces of white bread.
and it's the white bread's fault.
It's all the white bread. Yep. And then now you probably are still eating bread and enjoying bread.
I eat bread, wholemeal bread, but I eat bread. But nice. It's the stuff that I was putting on there that was the main issue, to be fair. And that was, I think I was on around at least 10,000 calories a day.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's about 10,000 a day.
So that's more than that's more than even your standard American diet.
Because I was an eater.
To be almost 500 pounds.
Yeah,
which is that means a lot of people in the U.S. and probably around the world in the Western cultures are eating probably nearly 10,000 calories a day to maintain.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, people tell, "Oh, you must have been eating forever to eat that many calories." It's not that difficult, with processed oils and sugars and animal products, cheese. I can get that in.
I got that calorie density. Yeah, your stomach can totally do it. So now I want to.
And when you're not spacing it out with like lower calorie, products such as like vegetables and other such things, it's easy to get it all in there.
Yeah, it's impressive what people can eat. But I want to talk about the heart disease stuff for a second, because I was pretty impressed talking to you about that. So you had, I guess, what would have been considered a little bit of cardiomegaly, in the same way that like acromegaly is really tall people. Cardiomegaly would be like expanded enlarged hearts or cardiomyopathy. I don't know exactly what you're diagnosed with, but you want to talk about that a little bit, where your heart was? I was having issues. The primary thing that I was seeing from a symptom point of view, I was getting a lot of arrhythmias. So I was having to go to the hospital, and they would give me drugs to try and get it back into the correct rhythm and bring the rate down. A couple of times have to have the paddles to shock it back into the correct rhythm. Which is fairly unpleasant, to be fair. I'm not saying it's the most unpleasant thing in the world, but as soon as somebody's putting paddles on your chest, you don't think there's long left, do you? Yeah, you're like, am I dead already? Like, what's going on? Man, that's intense.
Exactly. So there was an enlarged heart, and it wasn't enlarged. I mean, I don't know all the science behind those sort of enlarged hearts, but mine wasn't enlarged evenly. So one chamber was bigger than the other chamber, so they were uneven. And I think that was probably causing, according to the hospital and the doctor, the irregular rhythms, because they're not sort of like beating in the correct sort of sequence, and
the flow is all off.
Yeah, so it was causing a problem. So they did several sort of different scans. There was angiograms. There was some other scans on the heart, etc., to see what it was doing. And it was a bit of a mess, to be fair, initially. But I've been rescanned since, because obviously after a lot of the incidents, they had me on a lot of drugs, such as beta blockers and the blood thinners and other things there. Because when you're constantly having arrhythmias, the heart's beating like crazy, but the blood's going nowhere. It's just pooling.
Yeah, man.
So it's going to clot if blood's not moving about the place. So that's why they have to have you on the blood thinners. So I went back before they would take me off these. So they rescanned everything, and my heart had come down to a normal size. Everything was even. Everything looked okay. There was no crazy any kind of crazy electrical activity, and they also checked the atherosclerosis, because they, with the angiograms and stuff, which they checked before, and it had actually decreased considerably.
Yeah, which is crazy. And obviously that's a whole debate. Like, maybe it was artery dilation or not, but it is fair to say that you reversed that particular heart chamber enlargement back. Like they scanned it again and it was back down to
Yes.
normal.
Yeah,
That
it's
is
gone
also
down to
just
normal.
impressive. Yeah, not that it should be expected for everybody to have something like that,
No,
but that's incredible.
I'm not saying what happened to me is going to happen to everyone. I'm not saying it won't either.
Yeah, we don't know. We need more data.
But what's the problem? Eat more veggies and less animal products. It's not like it's like a terrible side effects you're going to get from that. It's only going to be good.
Yeah, seriously, that is incredible, man. I wish we had just like 500 of you that we could do like full 3D scans on and just see like what was really happening and going on inside the heart.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have the 3D scan, but it wasn't an option in the UK, aren't we?
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys are, in my opinion, better off than we are trying.
Oh,
to
possibly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really sure. Oh, yeah, I suppose we are pretty decent over here. I work for the hospital. I really should.
Yeah, you work for the NHS. You got to sell it better. Come on. Anyway, so let's just say psychologically, you were in a place where you had what you thought was irreversible heart disease, irreversible psoriasis, irreversible vein issues, and on and on.
And sleep apnea as well.
And sleep apnea. Yes, you said you had the CPAP machine that you got over, right?
Yeah, which is just like somebody constantly just blowing in your face all night long. It's one of the worst things. But yeah, that was reversed as the weight came off. I think that was generally just a weight issue. As far as I'm aware, but
and how long did it take you to get? How long did it take you?
It took me around about 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm. So it wasn't overnight. It can't be overnight unless it's liposuction.
No, I lost a lot of the weight, relatively quickly because of the size, and obviously I'm not eating the same calorie dense foods that I was eating. But then it does slow down as you're going on. But initially, for the first 9 stone, I didn't do any exercise particularly because I was in such poor health.
Yeah,
I would walk around the house, maybe walk up and down the street, but there was no sort of going to the gym or anything else. So the first 9 stone, which I can't remember what that is in 9 times
14, 90 plus 36, 126 maybe.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I mean, that was all that was all lost with dietary changes. So. And it was really good. And then obviously I started going to the gym and exercising more. Being a little bit lazy in lockdown, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you. Yeah, there's so much. Yeah, you can't do all the things that you want to do. So
that plateaued the weight, the weight loss for a while anyway. But I'm back on it now, back at the gym, making sure that I stay 100% to the whole foods, and I'm on my way to my final goal weight.
And getting help from Hench Herbivore. So shout out to Hench.
Yeah, he's helping me out.
Herbivore, I should say. Otherwise, it's probably going to sound wrong to everybody over there.
Yeah, he's done a series of videos with me where we're trying to document it to show people that they can, be healthy and lose weight, and they don't need animal products to do it. So
yeah, that's awesome. Well, so psychologically, I'd say you're probably in a better place now than you were as well.
Oh, I was terrible. I mean, I've said it before, and it's not. I never find it easy to say, but I believe in honesty, and people have to know sort of where you've been and where you are now. I was just literally waiting to die. I didn't see any way out. People were just pumping me with medications. I was told that many things that I had were fairly irreversible, and to be honest, no one ever even spoke about changing my, even at that kind of weight, no one ever mentioned dietary changes to fix these conditions. It was just like, oh, we'll give you a CPAP machine. Oh, we'll give you blood thinners. All right, we'll give you PUVA treatment. We'll do this. It was never. So I just thought it's a whatever, how long I'm left on this planet, it's just going to be medication, obesity, and pain. And I just thought I just wanted it to come and take me, to be fair. And I removed myself from society. I went to work because I have a family. But any social occasions, any times that anyone went, I never took part. It was pretty depressing part of my life, to be fair, and it was hard on me and hard on my family as well.
For sure. Well, I just want to give you a hug across the ocean. Be like, you did it. You made it out of that like endless pit, being shocked with your heart back into rhythm and on and on. So it's just like, I make these videos about diet and like sort of how it can help people. And I looked at these studies, but rarely am I thinking about like the faces of people and where they were and where they can be. And that's why I also look at public health though. Once I realize that again, that's why I look at public health also as an ethical issue. So it's like, for me, it's like veganism's like, you know, you got your health and your planet and your animals, but it's also the health is like ethical as well. It's not just self-serving. And so people are always like, oh, your health, it's like, you're just like not as good of a vegan or whatever. But it's like, no, like humans are animals. And you can take people who are being, have heart disease that's so bad they're being like shocked on a table and have all these issues.
No,
and
I get you entirely.
Yeah. So it's a diamond
because
for me.
One of the motivators for me to go online and talk about these sort of things, you know, like I've done before and with you now, is because I know there's people out there in the same position that I was in. And, you know, just being not told what they need to do properly by the doctors. Don't get me wrong, the doctors are keeping them alive while they're in that condition with the drugs, but, you know, no way out. So I wanted to show people that there is a way out, and you can make changes. You can improve your health, and you're not missing out on anything other than disease. You know, it's a great way to live. And I'm not quite there. I'm not quite there with my weight, but I've reversed all the illnesses. I've lost a considerable amount of weight. My life's so much better, and I'm still dropping weight to get where I need to be. So I think in the last 7 weeks, I've lost another 15 pounds. So it's going.
Yeah. Still going, still getting better, still getting healthier. And pretty soon you'll be more fit than I am, probably, with Hench on your side. Cool. Well, maybe
when I'm your way, people will say, oh, you know, I've lost the mark.
That's funny. You've lost, well, you would have lost half yourself in another like 40 pounds or something. I don't know. I don't do the math.
Yeah, something along those lines. Yeah.
That's incredible. Cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And again, check out the Vegan Boon Cat on YouTube and Instagram. And stay tuned for the series on Hench Herbivore, making you even better than you already are, if it's possible.
Exactly. And I like your English accent then.
Yeah, I got to get all the H's out. Got to get those hebs. Great. Well, yeah, comment down below on this. It's pretty incredible. And, like and subscribe to both. And thank you for watching. All right.
Thanks very much. See ya.